So he's going to edit those videos. So we are going to put the entire thing, and then we're going to have the individual. I don't know how he's going to do it, but then we're going to have edited videos. Anyway, let's move on. We have Radical Dreamers Le Tresor Interdit from the Chrono Cross OST. Once again, everybody, this is a Basterd's LFA, a layman-friendly analysis. I am a professionally trained musician, a composer, and my objective here is to explain things in a manner that you don't have to be a professionally trained musician to understand what is happening here musically. If you like the sound of that and you're watching this on the video archive, make sure you subscribe to the channel, like the video, share the video, all that good stuff. Keep in mind that this is recorded live on stream on a single take, so I'm going to be pausing a lot to explain things as I hear them, and all the other things that happen for this being on one take. So let's do this. Radical Dreamers, Tresor Interdit, Chrono Cross. Let's check it out. I will suck after this. We're 7 seconds in, and it is such a clean guitar. There's something about acoustic guitars, dude, that just sounds so beautiful. It beats the sound of the electric guitar playing clean by a long shot. It just sounds beautiful. And no, say little you didn't. We have this chord progression playing, which, by the way, a series of chords one after the other, that's called a chord progression. And I love it when you just hear the guitar right in your face. I'm a guitarist, so I love that. I love that by default, but right tool for the job, absolutely. Let's see where this goes. Establishes a very lovely... And the thing about acoustic guitar, right? Because one of the things that you have to keep in mind as a composer is instrumentation. Because the one issue with composition is the blank canvas effect. And it's one of the reasons why many composers fail. What is the blank canvas effect? Well, we have this here. Make something. Do it. Come on, make something. That is the blank canvas effect. Or what do I do? Where do I even start? Where do I go? So picking the right instrument, picking the right melodies, picking the right tempo and everything is a challenging part of being a composer, because, if you're in a band and you are, it's 4 guys and it's like 2 guitars, a bass and a drummer, and you have a vocalist, you know what your instrumentation is. But if you're a composer and you have infinite possibilities, you can do whatever you want, it becomes difficult. So picking an acoustic guitar, arpeggiating, by the way, that's what the guitar is doing. It's arpeggiating, it's doing arpeggios. Arpeggios or arpeggiation is when you play a chord one note at a time. So very popular with acoustic guitars to either strum the chords or arpeggiate the chords. It's really, really cool. Chrono Cross plays in an archipelago. The sound is quite fitting. So yeah, when you pick an acoustic guitar like this, it gives you that sense of solemnity, like it's a sense of peace. It's a sense of serenity, not solemnity, serenity that it gives you, that the guitar can give you. This is why it's used on like The Last of Us and things like that, because it's a very lovely representation of you sitting down and just enjoying the moment. That's the feeling that you get with an acoustic guitar. And that's what we've come to associate it with. Because every time you see an acoustic guitar in any medium, it's most likely going to be a scene where you're having an intimate moment. It's going to be nice and intimate, very peaceful. Everything is calm, and you're just having this moment of serenity. And it usually is a very emotional thing. So having that being the start of our instrumentation, really good choice. Bit more arpeggiation here, very lovely. Lots of open strings, very nice. Where do you take this? Okay, so it's a song. It's a song, which it's not surprising when it comes to an acoustic guitar to just have someone start singing. Because again, we are having this feeling of we're down by the campfire, maybe in the archipelago, maybe next to the beach, something like that, and we're just gonna sing a song and just enjoy the time that we're having with the music. Very lovely voice, by the way. Tricky. One of the things about Japanese is the language being so syllabic in the sense that it is built makes things a little bit tricky when it comes to writing music in fitting rhythms and everything, but it can also give you a lot of beauty when it comes to that. Let's see where they take it. I like that the singer is imitating the motif that we're having. Motif, once again, being the smallest version of your musical idea, the seed. It's your musical seed from which everything can sprout from. And the vocalist, the vocal lines that we're seeing here are very similar to the motifs of the guitar that we're playing at the very start. The melody is very similar in shape. And I like that. Because usually when it comes to guitar as an accompaniment, is that the guitar is the accompaniment and it's going to have a completely different melody for the singing. And right now, we're seeing very similar melodies from the singing and the guitar. This is very creative. I like it. And her voice is beautiful. And again, instrumentation is a very key thing. So is picking what kind of vocalist you want. This is a Japanese, maybe mezzo-soprano, maybe soprano. That's just the ranges of the vocals. You can go from soprano, mezzo-soprano, alto. That's the female side. On the male side, tenor, baritone, and bass. And they're all going to give you different ranges, different timbres. And an important thing about choosing a female singer, especially for a moment, a song like this, the reason why it's a woman and not a guy is that women will tend to have a way more pure voice. And something that we associate with women is beauty. Even if it's singing, we just associate it with beauty. And having this intimate moment of the acoustic guitar met with the beauty of a woman, now it turns it into a beautiful, intimate, serene moment of serenity, moment of beautiful peace, which Radical Dreamers kind of can also imply the hopeful aspect of it. Let's see. Yeah, I really like her voice. Very fitting. And interestingly enough, the guitar is playing the exact same thing that I played the last time. It's an intro / an A section. Very normal for accompaniment instruments to just play the first few bars flat out. It fills up time, it sounds nice, and it gives you the chance to acclimate to the sound that you're going to have. Because one thing you don't want to do too much in composition, especially for a piece like this one, that you want the listener to feel that peace, that serenity, that moment of beauty, is that you don't want to throw too many unfamiliar sounds to their ears. And right now, the guitar itself is having an already pretty complex set of arpeggios. So what do we do in that case? We just put one layer at a time. How can people tell if vocals are off-key? Because it sounds dissonant. And it will sound like it does not belong. In this case, due to how the guitar is playing, it makes it tricky. And sometimes it's very obvious when somebody is off-key, sometimes it is not. And usually it just means, if you're off-key, means you're playing a note that does not belong on this scale that you're supposed to be singing. in things like pop, rock and roll, rock, classical music, even some of the earlier stages of it, it is pretty easy to see when somebody's out of tune or out or off key. For things more like jazz and funk and metal, like more advanced forms of metal, more advanced forms of classical music, it becomes a little bit more difficult to discern whether or not it's intentional or not, because there's a difference between being off key and being purposefully dissonant. And the difference is entirely whether or not they meant to do it. Because it could genuinely sound bad. That's the whole point of atonal music, right? Like, it sounds bad. But that's how it's intended to be. And right now, back to this. This is supposed to sound this. Vocals can have no key because they are in singing. They can happen when it's not singing, but usually everything falls under whatever key they're in, unless you're doing atonal music, in which case there's no key. But usually in this case, we have whatever key we're in, and the guitar is playing such relatively complex lines of guitar that it kind of blends away, and it muddies the water of what the key could possibly be. It's a really creative thing to do. And again, this being a set where you're trying to invoke that sense of serenity and having such a complex guitar, I am very, very surprised at how well this is working. Because it's a very active guitar line. Even for an acoustic guitar, it's very, very active, but it has to do a lot with the fact that this is being arpeggiated, and every element of this is allowed to breathe. We introduce the guitar, then we're introducing the first vocalist. Let's see where they go from here. Yeah, singing this must be a nightmare. Alright, Sucker, think of hanging out, man. Get you around. Very lovely. Oh, going for something new? Not quite. Yeah, we're repeating. Nice. What a beautiful guitar line. Very complex. Very active. But very beautiful. I like it. Very, very nice. Recapitulation. We are engaging in pure recapitulation. Recapitulation. Of course, when you just repeat something. When you repeat something after something else has been played. In this case, we are just repeating the accompaniment, maybe a slight variation, just to bring back that sense. And of course, it's kind of a cheat code when you do this, because you can just fill up, you can puff up the amount of time that the track takes, and it still sounds nice. So, win-win. I think it's just a flat-out repeat, yeah. Yeah, no, singing this must be really difficult, considering how there are so many notes being played, which, strictly speaking, this is where the guitar is falling short on. While this guitar is absolutely beautiful and everything, there are so many notes being played at the same time that it's difficult to discern what the key even is for the vocalist and where the vocalist is, which, strictly speaking, academically speaking, that is not the purpose of the accompaniment. The purpose of the accompaniment is to enable the vocalist to do the things. And this is anything but that. It's kind of in the way, it's a pretty radical take on an accompaniment, because it's making the singer's job a lot more difficult. Very interesting for the kind of setting that we're using right now. Pretty difficult. I'm pretty sure that this must have taken a lot of takes to get right. This is pretty difficult. Very nice, right? Mortal, welcome to today. How you doing? Ooh, we're going up with the melodies. Very nice. Okay, we finished that very beautiful vocal line, and now we're moving over to a variation. AI can't do this yet. Absolutely not. No. Absolutely. Siram, welcome to today. How you doing? Oh! There you go! No, today we're doing LFAs and Final Fantasy VII. Okay. Excuse me. So, we went again. This is such a smooth way of using such abrupt elements. It's insane. So we start off with just the guitar doing these arpeggiations and all this thing. Really cool. We bring in the first singer. We bring her out. We let the guitar do this thing. We bring the singer back in. And now we bring two of them. 2 layers of singing. A beautiful harmony. Very tricky harmony considering that the key signatures here are pretty difficult. The chords here are pretty difficult to discern. And most importantly, the harmony is kind of dissonant. The harmony in the vocals is kind of dissonant. Of course, dissonance is when 2 notes clash instead of sounding well together. Usually, you want, for most tonal music, you aim for consonance, which is when your chords are built, you know, the good old do, mi, sol kind of chords. They're built with the proper thirds and everything. And then when you add notes that clash to it, you add dissonance to it, which by itself, it could be pretty bad. Like if you play C and B in the scale, it sounds pretty rough. You add E or G to that same chord and you play C, B, C, and E, or B, C, and G, and it sounds beautiful. So dissonance by itself does not mean something is going to sound bad. It just means it's going to clash, and it's going to bring tension in a way that, you know, bringing notes very close together. That is what Chrono trigger across thing, very irregular. Okay, good to know, because dissonance can also bring tension, and as I mentioned before, the only interval, by the way, interval is the name between 2 notes in a chord. The only interval that we have in music that is inherently unstable is the tritone. The tritone is not a dissonant interval, it's an unstable interval. And it can sound dissonant, but it's the only interval in any scale that you might have that is inherently unstable. Everything else can be either consonant or dissonant. And then you have the tritone, which is unstable. So, with that in mind, let's continue with this beautiful melodies. We're having the vocalist. What a way to bring the extra vocals in here. We have this parallel relative scales, and they're singing. They went from singing this super complex melody that the singer had been singing, and we're going for just a very simple melody being sung by 2 layers of vocals at the same time, keeping that sense of familiarity and serenity to this while bringing in something that kind of clashes with everything else we've heard so far. Very cool. 3rd layer. 3rd layer. Oh. And we're doing some choral counterpoint. We are doing this is choral counterpoint. This is like almost like writing a chorale. Chorale? I think is how you write it. When it's a chorus. These 3 are basically just a chorus. And we are having this type of counterpoint. which is very, very common in choral music. Like, you will see Johann Sebastian Bach writing this kind of thing. You will see Mozart writing this kind of thing. Beethoven writing this kind of thing. And counterpoint, of course, being when you have more than one melody working together. And the way it's being done is that we're having a lot of stuff going on, but the melodies are very simple. That these vocalists are having, the more layers of vocals we're adding, the simpler the melodies are getting. That's a beautiful thing. And with that, it's giving us also the sense of what I like to call the flying melody. We have the guitar, and in this sense, considering that this is just a guitar giving us the accompaniment, we have a very busy guitar line. And then up above, now we have this chorus of almost angelic voices with very simple melodies just flying up on the top, just flying up, soaring up above everything else in a very, very beautiful way. I am impressed. I'm impressed. Let's continue. So yeah, you can hear how some of the layers will change in the scale while others won't. This is such a oh, that was beautiful. Oh, that's beautiful. We bring out the guitar. We're probably gonna let the guitars do the chord progression one more time, and we're gonna call it a day there, I think. Let's see. Yep. One of the most effective ways of ending an acoustic guitar song piece. Just slow down. Slow down for the end of the chord progression, and then you just play that last chord or note. Weird resolution there, but there you go. This was really good. 4 layers of music. Guitar, singer, and 2 layers of extra singing. Four layers, and what a beautiful experience. What an absolute, it was really nice. This was really, really nice. Like, the vocals at the start, I liked that little struggle that the vocalist was having. No fade out, no fade out, I love you, that's it. That's how you get to my heart right away. No fade outs. You want to get along with me? Request something without a fade out, all right? And you did that just now. This was such a really, really beautiful thing. And that's the thing, right? With acoustic guitars, when you're finishing a song, you slow down. It's something that is not as easy to do with a bigger ensemble for obvious reasons, right? Because if you're the only one playing, and the implication here is kind of like she's singing and playing the guitar at the same time until we add the extra notes, the extra layers of vocals, right? And again, it gives you this sense of such a small scale, intimate moment of peace and serenity, adding that very angelic chorus at the end, and then you just slow down, playing that chord progression one last time, and you just end it. What an effective use of simplicity. It was such a simple track. I think the guitar might have had maybe 2 chord progressions in this whole thing. It was just playing the whole thing over and over. The chords were really, really difficult and really complex, and the arpeggiation was all over the place in terms of complexity. But at the same time, it was just so lovely. Really, really good. I need to play these Chrono games. Looks really good. But there you have it. That was Radical Dreamers, Le Tresor Interdit from the Chrono Cross OST. Once again, everybody, this has been a Basterd's LFA, a layman-friendly analysis. I am a professionally trained musician / composer. And I hope that I have explained things in a way that you don't have to be a professionally trained musician to understand what has happened here musically. If you're watching this on the YouTube archive and you like this video, make sure you're subscribed to the channel, you like the video, share the video, all that good stuff. Make sure you check out all the other things. I lost my train of thought there for a moment. If you want to catch the streams live, because this was recorded live on stream, check out the Discord and the Twitch channel that has the schedule in your local time zone so that you don't have to calculate time zones, because that's annoying. It's just there in your local time zone so that you can figure out if you can make it to one of the streams or not. And if you want to request a song and you're watching this on the video archive, just leave a comment with what you want us to do next. Game soundtracks only, original soundtracks only. And if you want to listen to this track in full, I will leave a link to this track in the description down below. So, with that, thank you for watching. Really, really good stuff. Radical Dreamers, Chrono Cross. That was beautiful. That was beautiful. But yeah, let's move on.